Good evening, family. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome. I have talked about music. Go back to my page, my live streams. I have, but I feel that this is the time to start off talk about music more because I do know about music. Um um and what we're gonna talk about the great Ramsey Lewis. That's one of my heroes of of music. Um, so sit back and relax. You're gonna wait for some more people to come in. But matter of fact, let me get this information. Let me get this announcement out the way. Gonna wait for some more people to come in. Hold on, fam. Hold on. I'll be right back. Yeah. I'm coming, fam. I'm coming, fam. I just gotta wet my beat, family. Oh, you gotta come. Okay. Gotta wet my beat, family. Gotta wet my beat. So, we're gonna talk about the great Ramsey Lewis. Hold on. I'll give you something to drink. Have some announcements. Here I go. See. Let me check out on panel. Wait, some more people come in. Yeah, here goes announcements. That is if you want to know more about me, yours truly, Jerry Thomas. Check out my Facebook page, Jerry Thomas. Also, I have a Facebook group. All in caps, JT MVP Thinking for Ourselves. I need that. Also, I have a Twitter account, also all in caps at JT Blackman 44. Instagram account, lower caps, the Underrated Darkness, lower caps. Also, want y'all to support joint venture with my brother Ernest Jones. He's still in the hospital, but I'm part of AnsAllToys.com. AnsAllToys.com. Wherever you purchase, you get 10% off when you use my code MVP. It's all about keep the economics in our community and expanding, bring the togetherness back with the black man and the black woman. Okay, that's what it's all about. After that, okay, so I want y'all to check that out. Also, I did something happened to me Thursday. I want you to check out that video that I did, and also we did a live stream about it. I did a live stream about it Thursday, the same night. It gets successful. It went over 200, and I consider that my first live stream that went over 200 that fast, and I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. To thank you so much to anticipate and the sisters. And I love y'all for that. I really appreciate this. I really, really do. And the brothers, thank you so much. Very important. There's no words can explain. I thank you so much to help me on that. Also, every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I had the Underrated Sports Show on this channel with my brother and co-host Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Again, my brother and my co-host Sheep Stay Sleep TV. So that's Underrated Sports Show. Every Monday. Also, I'll be cooking. Tomorrow I'll be cooking. So that's every Sunday, and then that's usually early evening. So stay tuned for that. I don't know that I'm gonna cook tomorrow, but most likely I'm still gonna have something to eat. I don't know what it is. Might be some leftovers, but we still gonna fellowship and do that. So watch out for that tomorrow. Okay, family? Because like I said, sometimes I ain't gonna feel like cooking and stuff like that, but I'm still gonna keep it up and everything. We're gonna fellowship as we always do. We're gonna eat and break bread together. So tomorrow, watch out for that. You never know. I might do a live stream in the morning. It really depends and stuff. There's some things that I talked about that I really want to bring up. So it is very important to me. So I'm gonna but y'all will hear more about that. Also, midterm elections is coming in November. Oh, excuse me, family. Excuse me. I'll be doing the midterm elections of our perspective of that night. I don't know what time that will be, but I want y'all to stay tuned for that. Around of this USA in our communities. Let's be in tune what's going on in our community. And it's definitely going to be panel participation on that. So I want y'all to let's work together. This is the time we want to make a change, we'll make a change. Right? So after that, check the take that. Oh, okay. All right. I've just so okay. The 17. Let's get them views up, family. Let's get them views up. Very much appreciated. Oh, wow. You know that Ronald Goldman. Hey, LDBC all day. LDBC all day. Yeah, the doctors, yeah. Oh, thanks for coming, y'all. It's gonna be panel participation. So watch out for that. After I finish reading the story, Sugar Bear, I'm waiting for some more people to come in. Thank you, AIC Gas, Strike, and Light, everyone. Subscribe to the brother, the Underrated Darkness. And after that, Bear Box, yeah. Thanks for coming, sister. All right. And sisters and Bear Air and IC, I want you to join the panel too. When I finish reading the story, the darkness, no music too. But I'm gonna read, and I'm gonna do more about music too. So stay tuned for that. You never know, but I'm gonna do music too. So, and also sisters, And also I forgot to tell the queens in the chat, queens in the chat. In the past, I did stories of ladies too. So I want y'all to go look for that too. And then if drop a comment or two. And if you want to discuss all of that, business, know how it impact your life. Because like I said it before I'm gonna read about Ramsey Lewis. These are the women that impact our community. They're not just impact women, they impact our community. It's a mindset. It's the love for the black man. It's love for the black woman. You hear what I'm saying? It's love for us as a community, as a family and a community. And they say into that. So I want to drop this jewel on you. Now, I think I got people up in this piece. All right? Now, sisters that y'all understand. Some of these sisters don't know that. Some of these sisters singing today, they don't know what the women in our queens in the past, of an enormous pressure that they was, because the women back, the other women nationalities back then, they did not treat them as human beings. So the black man and the black woman had to rely on each other, and we missed that. Matter of fact, I might do a live about that. But we definitely gonna get to the story right now. Excuse me, and I want to thank everybody to come on the panel. I want to thank everybody to come in the chat. And like I said, it's gonna be panel participation. All right. Drop when I let you know, drop it right in there. Let me know you want to come in the panel, and we're gonna talk about that. Right. So here we go. The underrated music talk. Ramsey Lewis, the great Ramsey Lewis. Ramsey Emmanuel Lewis Jr., born May 27th, 1935. Why did scratch out? I don't understand. He be scratching things out. Can't read it. Is an American jazz composer, pianist, and radio personality. Ramsey Lewis has recorded over 80 albums and received 7 gold records and 3 Grammy Awards so far in his career. He was in Chicago, Illinois. That's part of the jazz thing, back then. Even in New Orleans, I had to put in that. Composer, pianist, radio personality, instruments, piano, and keyboard. 1956, that's when he started the labels and stuff. Most likely, I'm gonna read his biography. Okay. Ramsey Lewis was born in Chicago, Illinois, to Ramsey Lewis Sr. and Pauline Lewis. Lewis began taking piano lessons at the age of 4. At 15, he joined his first jazz band, the Chefs. The 7 Piece group provided Lewis his first involvement in jazz. He would later join Chefs drum Isaac Red Holt and basser Elder Young to form Ramsey Lewis Trio. Now I'm gonna bring up about Holt and Young. I'm gonna talk about them too. I'm gonna bring them in because I know a little something about that. They became the Ramsey Trio. The trio started as a jazz unit and released their first album, Ramsey Lewis and the Gentlemen of Swing, in 1956. Following their 1965 hit, "The Crowd," the single reached number 5 on the on the pop chart. I remember that. It was big for jazz. And album two. And the album reached up to number two. They concentrate more on pop material. Young and Hart left in 1966 to form Young and Hart Ultimate, and they were replaced by Cleveland Eaton and Maurice White. Now, Young and Hart left them. They came out with a song in six. I'm gonna get back to the story. They came back with a song. I forgot the name of it, but I'm gonna look it up. But it was a big, big hit. It was back in '68. Said, "Don't leave me over." I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up, family. Then I'm gonna dig into that. But they came up with a hit, but they left. Okay. Now they were replaced by Cleveland Eaton and Maurice White. Now Maurice White left to form Earth, Wind, and Fire and was replaced by Morris Jennings in 1970. Later, Frankie Donaldson and Bill Dickens replaced Jennings and Eaton. Felton Cruz also appeared a mini 1980 release. In 1966, that's the year I was born. Haha. Yeah, and that's also the same year Kwanzaa was formed too, was discovered too. Throw that in. By 1966, Lewis was one of the nation's most successful jazz pianists, topped the charts In the Crowd, Hang On Snoopy, Wade in Water. All three each sold over 1 million copies, and they was awarded gold discs. Many of his records attract a large non-audience in the 1970s. Lewis often played electric piano, although by later on in the decade he was stick by accused and using an addition keyboard in his groups. Now I'm gonna stop there. Now, y'all remember Peanuts, right? Back in the 60s, Charlie Brown. Ramsey Lewis composed that. He wrote that too. So keep your eye on that too. I'm gonna look that too. But he wrote that too. That's in the 60s. Need to throw that in. In 1994, Lewis appeared on the Red Hot organization complimentary album Stolen Moments, Red Hot and Cool, alongside with other prominent jazz artists, Herbie Hancock and Roy Ayers. That I will go do a live stream on that too in the near future. Very instrumental to Herbie Hancock, Roy Ayers. All either them, especially them two, they don't get the credit of help bring jazz to the second phase of popular music. I'm gonna do a story about them too in the near future. The album means to raise awareness, the funds support the AIDS epidemic in relations to the African American community was heard by the album year of Time magazine. In addition to recording and performing, Lewis hosts the weekly syndicate radio program Legends of Jazz, created of 1990, currently syndicated by the United States Radio Network. He also hosted the Ramsey Lewis Morning Show on Chicago Smooth Jazz Talk radio station WNUA. That's 95.5 FM in December 2006. This morning show's part of the Broadcast Agriculture Smooth Jazz Network, simulcasting of some other smooth jazz stations across the country until its cancellation of May 2009, when WNUA switched over to a Spanish format. That is sad, and that's what some of the that's what the jazz station was. That was a movement of Spanish, because that's what during the time that there were some people, Hispanics, said they didn't have enough Spanish playing music and stuff. So you have to understand one that I'm gonna get to the story back. I'm gonna let this read it. So So at the time, this was jazz. They trying to kill jazz and stuff. They trying to water it down and stuff. Remember, I mean, they was watering it down even like about 20 years prior to that. But you know, Ramsey Lewis was one of the few people back then in the organ. It wasn't really mentioned the organ for jazz, but he made it so nice. But even a few years before that, the Onlyest Monk. Now, the Onlyest Monk, he one of the best pianists playing and stuff like that. So we have to understand of the revolution of the piano and electric piano, and the organ have plays in an effect too. And I'm gonna throw in Herbie Hancock too. And these are some of the people they played with big. They played with big with big jazz stars like um um Miles, the late great Miles Davis, Earl Fitzgerald, and stuff, and others. So we have to understand that the revolutionary of what's going on here and everything. So let's get back. Let's get back to the story. In 2006, a well-received 13-episode Legends of Jazz television series. Legends of Jazz television series hosted by Lewis was broadcast on public TV nationwide and features live performance of various jazz artists like Larry Gray, Dr. Lonnie Smith, another jazz great back in the 70s, made some great hits. Don't get credit deserved. Joe DeFaccio, another one. Dave Brubeck. Now, Dave Brubeck, I'm gonna stop there. Gray Brubeck. He's a jazz legend. He's white, but he's a jazz legend. He made, I think it was the beginning of the 50s or towards the mid 50s. He made the song Take Five. That's Take Five. He composed that. One of the great sounds of all time of popular music. Told you I know little stuff. So Chick Corea, he played Chick Corea played in the early 1970s Curtis Mayfield sound. I think the very first Curtis Mayfield solo LP back in 1970, and I believe 70, also in 71 when Curtis became on his second LP, Roots. And I believe he played, I think he played somewhere in Superfly too. I believe that Chick Corea too. Yes. Kurt Illing, Benny Golson, Pat Metheny. Pat Metheny is another jazz legend. Pat Metheny group, they play, I believe, in the 70s, but they mark like in the 80s. Great, they made great hits. Even go tonight, Pat Metheny group. And Tony Bennett. Well, we know about Tony Bennett, you know, they consider to play popular music, pop and stuff, but they also he's saying the jazz format too. All right. So think on that. Lewis is artistic director of Jazz of Ravelin and annual features at the Ravelin Festival in Highland Park, Illinois, and help organize Ravelina Jazz Mentor Program. Ramsey also serves on the board of trustees for the Merit Schools of Music, a Chicago inner city music program, and Chicago High School for the Arts, the new public arts high school in Chicago. Early in 2005, the Ramsey Lewis Foundation was created to help connect at-risk children to the world, and its offshoot and its foundation. Lewis plans to form a youth choir and a youth orchestra. In January 2007, the Dave Brubeck Institute invited Lewis to join its honorary board friends at the University of Pacific in Stockton, California. Lewis is an honorary board of members of Chicago Jazz Orchestra. Lewis is a member of the Pi Beta Sigma fraternity. In May 2008, Lewis received an honorary doctorate from Loyola University Chicago, upon delivering the keynote address at the undergraduate commencement ceremony. Lewis still lives in Chicago, the city of his musical roots. He has 7 children, 14 grandchildren, and two great grandchildren. Oh, it shows. Wow. Let me read this. No, let me go back. Let me go back. Let me go back. But that they did some more go like that. So, but while I'm looking for stuff, Ramsey Lewis, he did a damn thing. He made a lot of hits, man. I'm looking through the side rap from 56. You know, I'm looking through this and everything. 56, 58, 59, 59, 61, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 65, 67, 68, 69. He made about almost 3 LPs each year of 60. He didn't skip 70, 71. I 72, 73, 74. I see 75, 76, 77. He even made everything in 70s too. 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 6. I see 86. I don't see 86. He did everything in the 80s and sub 86. Let's see, 89. Okay, 91. He didn't know 91. Yeah, he was skipping out. Going to the 90s, so he did some skipping and stuff. So, but he's did a lot. I'm gonna invite some people in a few minutes. There's some I'm looking for and everything. Trying to find what it is, where it's at and everything. Well, so UGG Snapper, my sniper. Yo, thanks for coming. Appreciate that. So let me know what y'all think about the oh, there it is. What y'all think about the think about the story. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it more. And he's living, and we need to pay homage to him. You know what I mean? We need to pay homage to the brother. Need to pay homage. Yeah. Yeah, he is. Yeah. He was. He really is, and he's still making an impact right now. Other people that's gonna follow him too. So we have to pay homage to the brother. Mm. There he is. Hold on, Sonny. Hold on, my brother. But Malik, I seen you the invite. You wanna come through? It's right there. Check it out. So you can go ahead, brother. How you doing?
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
1 2 1 2, bro.
How you feel today, brother?
Man, I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right, man.
Good, good. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. Honest to everyone. You know what I mean? Honest to you.
Mm-hmm.
Brother sounds like I was just actually listening to one of his tunes. Brother sound really, really, really talented.
Mm-hmm. Very talented.
And once again, it's always good to big up and show respect for you know the great people that we have in our community. A lot of people don't know how hard it is to be an artist for years, to be putting out good content, good music.
Right.
You know, one of the main reasons why they call them artists is because they paint pictures in their music.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I was actually just listening to one of his joints, and he sound real good. I've never heard of the brother, to be honest with you.
All
I,
right.
well, I don't remember his name, but I'm sure I probably heard of some of his music, but didn't know who I
Mm-hmm.
was listening to. But yeah, he had some hits.
Lot of hits.
Well, what is your favorite song that you've done?
I can't name one, but I like the soundtrack he did for the Peanuts. He did a soundtrack for the Peanuts back in the '60s. Family. So I like that.
Trying to play one of his joints.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Now stop. Now pause that. Now pause that. Pause that. Now that Sun Goddess. He that's part of Earth, Wind and Fire LP back in '74. They recruited him to do that sound. I want people to understand it. That Sun Goddess. Am I right, brother?
Indeed.
Sun Goddess. Earth, he was no. Everybody thought that was part of his LP. No, no, it was came with Continental LP, but the organ is gonna come in right now. That Sun Goddess. Now understand this at this time. Now at the time, now he's going on 20 years been in the industry too because he started in '56. So you think of that '74? That he's a veteran at the time. This when he start coming into his I call legendary status. Family, want you to understand that. This was the jazz fusion really started happening like in the '70s. Just as Bitch Bureau that Miles Davis did in '69 when he stopped putting different types of music that at the time that there are some jazz people they jazz writers they didn't like, but jazz always been evolving, and we always been the ones, us as the people, has involved with it. I want you to understand that. Go ahead, brother. Sun Goddess, and that's one of the biggest Earth, Wind, and Fire hits that they have in the 70s.
And
Brilliant,
it's
brilliant
funny.
plan.
It's funny if you listen to the song. Uh, actually that particular song, you listen to it and you look at the title, you look at the picture. It's like it brings that word to life. You know, that sound back in the day was a hit for a long time, and they put out some timeless music.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Any, yeah.
it's had an effect on music today because
Mm-hmm.
some of his music has been sampled by artists that we hear today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you might be listening to his work and his inspiration and don't even know it.
Mm-hmm. I see. I send a email to you. If you want to come on, let me know. If you ain't got it, let me know. I send it back. But and that be it too. So yeah. So what impressed me about him and the rest of the family in the chat of his perseverance. How King Hebrew, thanks for coming, my brother. Very much appreciate, brother. Thanks for coming. Appreciate that, family. What impressed me about this of his consistency and willing to change with the times, brother. In 1960, he did not miss a beat. In 1970, he did not miss a beat. Only time he didn't make no music back in '87. Everything, all the other years in the '80s, he make music. In the '90s, he skipped because he do other things. Also, he made some music in 19 and in the 2000s. He's an honorary. He doctor. No, I'm sorry because he got his doctrine. Let me sorry. I got to say this. He Dr. Ram. He's the great Dr. Ramsey Lewis. I forgot he did a doctorate. So he Dr. Ramsey Lewis. And he's still here right now.
Indeed, and just to put into perspective, um, again, if you listen to that song "Sun Goddess," he is the one that's on the keys.
Right.
Now, if you know anything about Earth, Wind, and Fire, they were all masters of their particular instrument, which means that they've been on their
That's
instrument
him
for
right there.
years. So they're not going to recruit just anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like they all were masters of their instruments. So the difference between music back then and now is like now you got a whole bunch of sounds that's already in a computer. You know what I'm saying? You don't have bands anymore. You don't have artists such as brother Ramsey Lewis that spent years and hours and hours and years honing their craft. So it's good to kind of go back sometime and pay homage to the hard work that I'm listening to it now, and because I know how to play the piano. That's matter of fact. For those who don't know this about me, I play three instruments.
Mm-hmm.
I play the bass guitar, the piano, and a string guitar.
Right.
And I'm listening to what he's playing, and what he's playing is not easy. He's jamming. But what he's playing is not easy to play.
It's not.
So I'm hearing his mastery as we speak.
And you go more on your point. I gotta reemphasize it again. At that time, they considered like jazz players, like for him coming to '50s, going to the '70s as legendary status. He approaching legendary status, people. At that time, he been in the game for 18 years. I want some people to understand this. he understands to adopt Earth, Wind, and Fire. But at the same time, Earth, Wind, and Fire, what they had done, and Maurice, when I read by Maurice White was part of that trio back then too. That he created that a lot of people don't know. He left that and create Earth, Wind, and Fire back in '67. Now they did a little here and there, and then after that, they came in 1970. Now, if you remember, I'm gonna drop some jewels on you, drop some jewels on your family. If you remember Melvin Van People, he made this movie Sweet Badass. That's back in 1970. The early Earth, Wind, and Fire, they did a soundtrack for that. I want you to look it up. Sweet Badass, 1970. Earth, Wind, and Fire did a soundtrack for that. What happened was Earth, Wind, and Fire had broken up temporarily, and they came back, I believe, in '72. And after that, the rest is history. But Maurice White come from Maurice White came from that tree of, and that's crazy. He came from that tree of Ramsey Lewis. Go ahead. You go ahead, IC.
There, and hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I have no idea what I can put up for the fact that music has always been integral to the Asiatic soul. It's helped through times. We can see the spiritual out of slavery time without instruments, made music with the shovels and hoes and everything else. When people listen to jazz, it may sound haphazard. That's because jazz speaks to multiple dimensions, multiple levels of soul. So if you are on a music, you can see the layering of the music happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's as if it's paint splattered on a canvas. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Evolution of jazz happens as people continue to evolve and to change. The jazz today was the experience of yesterday. So I think we should continue to celebrate these artists and to listen to their music, some souls.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know that people remember when I said Young and Hope, right? That part of the original Ramsey Lewis trio. I put them up, and they formed. That's a formed with Beyond 19. Now they came with including minor hit Whack Whack that was charted number 40 on the Billboard 100. And what happened was in 1968, they renamed themselves Young Holt. And under their new name, they scored number 3 Hot 100 hit with Soulful Strug. Now that's back in 1968, like I said before. I just had to pull it up. The backing instrumental track was Barbara Atkins' I Am the Same Girl. Soulful Strug sold 1 million copies with the gold record awarded of January 1960. Awarded by the RIAA in January 1969. So again, these brothers came from Ramsey Lewis Trio. Now there's 2 versions to that. There's a acapella version. I mean, when I'm talking about the acapella version, I'm not talking about just saying acapella. The acapella version with the musical, but one of the famous ones is the it's instrumental. Go now. A lot of people had a lot of people. Hip hop um has sampled that. It came from them. Young and Holt, the original members of the Ramsey Lewis trio. It. Young, go ahead. No, we ain't forget about the Duke. We ain't forget about it. Duke Ellington. Duke Ellington composed over 2,000 composers. He composed over 2,000 songs that a lot of people don't understand either. A lot of people don't know that either. I'm gonna do stories about it. Y'all go ahead, people, because I'm gonna get some stuff. I'm gonna draw some stuff up.
Yeah, so just to kind of finish my first point a little bit, a lot of people really don't know, really don't remember all that went into music back in the day. Like, cause right now we don't have bands anymore. You know what I mean? We don't have a lot of children that's interested in playing instruments anymore. You know, everything is on computer nowadays. You know, nobody's really taking time to home a craft with like a brother like Louis Ramsey spending hours per day perfecting his craft. You know what I'm saying? That's you get to a point in music to where you can paint pictures with whatever you play. You can make someone sad with music. You can make someone happy. You can make someone excited. You know, uh, whatever's on their mind, they're able to tap into their spirit and their soul and bring that out to life. And that's what Louis Ramsey was at. That's some of the things that he was able to accomplish. You know, you listen to his
No,
music.
Ramsey Lewis. You had to I said it backwards.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Ramsey Lewis. Like you listen to his music, it'll automatic like that song "Sun Goddess." It'll automatically put you in a good mood. Like you know, you can have a tough day at work or whatever, and you just kind of sit down and chill. And you play that music, it'll make all that melt away. And that's the gift that a lot of those artists is left for us. You know what I mean? Who having tough times in your life. Sometimes music is a good way to escape. You know. With that, I pass the mic.
Go ahead, I see. Sis, Queen. You break it up, sis. Oh.
Yeah, sis, you sound like a robot.
Be to
Oh.
Yeah, can't hear your sister. Your
Can't hear you.
connections.
Yeah, you should
Uh,
probably come back and reset back. Come back, sis. Yeah, but, and also at that time when you hear that, also Earth, Wind, and Fire, I'm not getting off the subject, they consider them as alternative jazz too. Of the fusion that I'm talking about, that Miles Davis has helped start it. And also I gotta mention Quincy Jones too. Everybody think Quincy Jones, oh, he wrote songs. He wrote songs and so no, Quincy did a lot of arranger even back then. Like he arranged big hits even in the early 50s going to the 60s too. Also, Quincy Jones was he was a record producer. Also, he owned some labels too. But also he did some groundbreaking arrangement in the 60s. Matter of fact, a lot of people don't understand Quincy Jones out of this old of both Iron Side series. He arranged that. He arranged and composed that. Sanford and Son, 72. That's come from Quincy Jones. That's jazz right there, fam. I'm dropping jewels on y'all.
You remember that? You remember that movie? The last, what was it called? The Last Dragon
Yeah,
with Bruce Leroy.
yeah.
I believe he did that whole soundtrack too.
Oh yeah, Quincy Jones did a lot of soundtracks.
Hmm. Yeah, and he brought what's the name of that group? He had the
Brother Johnson,
Temptations on that soundtrack too.
the brother Johnson, not them.
Yeah, so I take that back, man. Like I don't remember, I didn't remember his name, but I am very familiar with his work because he was a instrumental in one of my favorite groups, Earth, Wind and Fire, hands down to me one of the greatest groups ever. You
Yeah.
know, and even when you look at the name that they chose, it's that music is seasonal. You know what I mean? All of everyone who's on that instrument were masters. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but back to Quincy. Quincy was a beast also. He had his hand in almost everything back in the
Everything. I'm talking about for decades. You know what I'm saying, brother?
everything from music to movies.
Movies, everything. And you
And
got and you know what? No, you go ahead, brother. I wait till you finish.
no, I was just gonna say he was very instrumental in putting a lot of people on.
A
You know,
lot. And
he
I'm
changed.
talking about, yeah, and go more your point. He put a lot of people on that even they can't later on be composers. You think about like we're not getting off the subject, fam. We're gonna get back to Ramsey Lewis, but it does connect it. You think about the genius, the late great um the genius, Ray Charles. He instrumental Quincy Jones to help him push along his music too. That I think that we don't understand the genius of the late great Ray Charles, how he could play in every forms of music and make hits of it. And also he's one of the few that composed and arranged and great songwriter too. That he don't get credit that he deserves. That he have a lot of hits. And when him and Quincy start getting to the act, they start making a lot of hits. That's another name that was part of this jazz fusion. So y'all can go ahead.
The thing about Quincy Jones, he was able to see by him, knowing music, um, mastering different instruments himself, knowing music, he was able to see other masters. When you look at Ray Charles,
Mm-hmm.
like Ray Charles was a master. He was a blind person or blind man, blind Asiatic man who can play the piano. You know, he not only played the piano, he saw like he can see the music without seeing it, and you know, can imagine how hard that is for someone who is blind to be able to play the music because a lot of people learn music when they learn the piano. Typically, they learn in school with learning how to read notes and things of that nature. Like when I didn't learn like that. I play by ear, but um, I do understand not being able to see how hard that could be. You know what I mean? Because like I can't play with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I got to see where my hands. Yeah, I got to see where my hands is going. But like he's been practicing for so long that He
No,
knows
because
what
I gotta
all
see what
the
my hands. I gotta see what my hands is doing.
he know
But
what
like
all the
he
keys
been
are.
practicing home. He knows.
Go get something to eat. There's a burger on the stove. Make salad with it, and then you need to do some serious cleaning.
Go ahead, sister. Well, yeah. So being able to play the piano with your eyes closed is very very hard. Like for me, I don't practice like I should, but that's because like I got other things going on. But just to sit there and spend hours upon hours upon hours upon hours to be able to get to the level that Ray Charles were or was is something that shows me how talented that brother was. And Quincy Jones, he saw it. He saw it. It's like I'm pretty sure if I can like close my eyes and look at Quincy Jones' facial expression when he first heard this guy, and they talking like he blind too. No, he not blind. He faking. I'm pretty sure they probably try some tests
Yeah,
or whatever on
exactly.
him.
And that's the thing about it that we talking about jazz greats here. You know what I'm saying? We talking about at one time they didn't put jazz in popular music. That they actually have to force themselves to recognize, be part of popular music. And we talking about now I'm going about early jazz, like you got Duke Ellington. I mean, you got Ellington. You got the great Louis Armstrong. You got all time greats in the past. Now, and I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get back to Rains Lewis. But also, we gotta mention Nat King Cole. Nat King Cole say in this jazz Formula 2. He one of the few brothers that puts that same jazz in a pop sculpture. Y'all ain't know that, huh? And that's very unheard of back in the 40s and the 50s.
Nat King Cole was a beast also.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yes, he
and
was.
and like I said, then back in those times, it was a different time.
Mm-hmm.
You have all these different video games and a lot of things that consume your time, like Facebook and Twitter and all that time. Back then, people took times and they honed their skills on something. And music was one of them. A lot of people came out of the church, because we are rhythmic people.
Right.
Um,
Yes, Lena Horne too. Right. Mm-hmm.
we are rhythmic people, so like we gravitate towards music. You know what I mean? So honest to the ones who took the time to give us joy. Like they gave us joy all these years. Nat King Cole, he got his daughter. She passed away, didn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, she was a beast also. You know, typically whenever you have a artist, the artist's children also sometimes more times than likely pick up their gift because they're around the music. They're watching their father or they're watching their mother, and they just pick up the gift. It's just a love for the music, and it's good that we're talking about it because we kind of lost that. What I'm saying? Like the music nowadays, um, they're pushing certain agendas, and it doesn't have the same mastery as it once did before.
No, there's no hunger of reading music. There's no hunger of each instrument sound plays its solo form to help formalize orchestration. You know what I'm saying, brother? And I miss that.
Mhm.
I miss that. I'm hungry. That's why I like long versions. I like some goddess. That's almost 10 minutes. But you see what I like of that song, the Earth, Wind, Fire, that each member of the Earth, Wind, Fire had their own solo. Even you can hear the drums and stuff, but you improvise a few. But when it comes to Ramsey Lewis, you know that's Ramsey Lewis. You know how he switch up, play different keys on that, and it's hot. And we don't have that camaraderie no more. You hear what I'm saying? That challenge each other. I miss that. I was listening to some guys like earlier when I was really, I was going, what was I said? I'm going to do Ramsey Lewis. I always want to talk about Ramsey Lewis. And I was just hearing his stuff. And then I was hearing the tree that he created. And they went on with other prominence. You know what I'm saying? And I got to give credit to Ramsey Lewis because you have to be a bigger person, let people, because there are some jazz boys, no, I don't want you to leave because they feel comfortable with you. And that's another aspect, but he let them go to let them create. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Like Young Hope. Yeah, they made a minor hit that's back in 66, like I read before. But in 68, they came with the monster. That also that spread out pop, jazz, whatever. They was top 10 on, you know, that's one of the biggest hits in 68. And so that's part of the Ramsey Lewis tree. And like I said, he made over 80 albums in his career. 80, family, think about it, 80 albums. Then not counting how many artists had recruit him to play on their soundtrack, play on their albums and stuff. That actually came hits. Also, we not really talking about his jazz composed and arranger too.
And just to put that into perspective of what you just said, brother, because I want to use another example.
Yeah.
Just for the people who don't understand the gravity of what you just said. 80 albums. Just imagine you writing 80 books.
Over. I forgot to say over.
Okay, so over 80 albums. So listen to this. That's like writing over 80 books. Like how much content can you, like, if you just come up with one book, that's even tough enough. You know what I mean? Like, to come up with so much content, just don't do one song. A lot of people don't understand how hard that is. You know what I mean? To get to the motivation or the inspiration to write that many albums. You know, anytime someone makes an album, like really makes it, and I'm talking about no samples, like they're creating their own music, they're putting a piece of their soul into that music.
Right.
You know what I mean? So whatever vision that they're coming up with in their heart and their mind and their soul, they're putting it into that music.
Mm-hmm.
So like just for people to understand, it's like, you know what I mean, or let's just say you're a painter, you know, doing over 80 paintings, or I don't know, just like, I guess maybe that's just the simplest one I can think of right now. Just writing over 80 books.
And you know, and go, and like I said, and not just telling about that, my brother, and other people. Anybody that wants to join the panel, let me know so I can get you on the panel so we could talk, because there should be more people get on the panel. Let's talk about this. Esquire 1995. Salute to you, brother. I want your people show love to Esquire. You know, welcome, brother. Subscribe to the brother. He gonna do some content in the very near future. So Subscribe. So show love to the brother. Welcome to Squire. Very much appreciated. And anybody want to join the panel, feel free. It's okay. And what for me, brothers, is that how many arrange and compose he did. And it's not telling what I read. I would love to find out how many hours that he written and composed and arranged.
Probably, you know what I mean, somewhere over 500, maybe even more than that.
It had to be like 500 and better. And I'm talking about, family, his works that we not even talking about. And that's crazy. And he's still living. And then I ain't gonna cut you off, brother. And then think about it. He's still making money off the soundtrack Peanuts. And the other ones that play with him. The trio and stuff like that. That I can talk about Holt and Young, the one I just talked about, they still eating off that. And the other ones, they eating off that. And I'm just that is just one composer and arranger. I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to cut you off. To me, it's like.
Also, if you look at music nowadays, right? I'm gonna just take hip hop for example. You have an artist that comes out, you know, and let's just say their first album is like always the best, like the most bangingest album ever. You know what I'm saying? That's part of that is because they put most of their heart and soul into that music, right? When you come to their second album and their third album and their fourth album, if that even lasts that long, you know, you notice that the second album that kind of falls off, or the third album kind of falls off. Like you don't get the same feel. You know what I mean? That I'm bringing this up because for someone to last so long in the music industry, it says a lot because a lot of people don't have it to last 5 years or 10 years or even 15 years. You know what I mean? So to compose that much music and to stay relevant, you know what I mean? Keep your music on the same level for so many years, you know, it's astronomical. I mean, it will come probably, you know what I mean? It will come a time and point where it'll die out, you know what I mean? Because music changed so much, you know, the times changed so much. But a lot of their music from the past will always live on. They'll always have classics. But to stay in the game for like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, that's absolutely incredible. And like you said, like you got other artists that come out with albums, you know, and you got some of these masters that are composing these albums. So the composers are a big part of why a lot of certain artists were successful. Even though it might not have been a Ramsey Lewis album, he might have composed the album for somebody or helped write a song for somebody.
Right. Yeah. And so for me, I think what I appreciate of Ramsey Lewis that he was a giver. You know what I'm saying? He always improvised. He always knew how to change with the times. Because we have to understand there are some jazz back, I'm talking about like 70, 80 years ago, they didn't want to change. But at the same time, they did made a mark of popular music. Like Charlie Parker, they called the Birdman. I would love. I wish he could have lived longer. How far? Because he one of the creators of bebop, and part of bebop that is jazz. And I would love to see, and that's what Dizzy Gillespie. He part of the bebop era too. I would love to if he. I'm saying like if he would have like have a chance to clean himself because Charlie Parker, he he played the horns and saxophones a certain way that nobody could not even copy it. But he, what a lot of people say, he like the creator of bebop, and it was a lot of people trying to play it, but they couldn't. Even Dillon Monk, they part of bebop too. He played his piano form and stuff like that. I would love to wish that if Charlie Parker would have lived and go into the '60s, how far that bebop could have really be taken. And I always thought about that when I was a preteen, because I'm a big Charlie Parker fan too. Ella, the late great Ella Fitzgerald, she was singing of a bebop stanza of jazz singing too. She created her own sound of how she singing. So she used her voice as an instrument. Very unheard of. Sarah Vaughan that learned from Ella Fitzgerald. And then Sarah Vaughan created her own thing too. And so to me, jazz always been involving a popular music, always evolving of different instruments, have the southern impact of our music. Even I'm gonna mention the name Charles Mingus. Look it up, family. Charles Mingus. I believe he played the horn piano. I forgot of it. Man, if I'm gonna look it up right now. Charles Mingus, another jazz great. That helped create it. And so we gotta pay homage to these people, man. And maybe he wasn't there that long, but there it is. Pianist, I pull it up. I knew I was right. Charles Mingus. Charles Mingus was an American jazz double bass pianist and composer and band leader. He died in 1979 in Mexico. So here's a brother that's still, and I'm definitely gonna do a live about Charles Mingus too. That's one of the jazz greats too. That's one of my heroes too. You go ahead, brother.
Got a question for you, brother.
Go ahead.
What came before jazz?
Me in our music or just music period?
And our music.
I can't even answer that.
You think the blues came before jazz?
Yeah, it could be. I think that, yeah. To come and think about it, yeah.
What came before the blues?
I said I can say the form of it. I said that spiritual hymn, so I can say gospel.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Well, blues and country was kind of almost the same thing.
Right, but see, right, as you're right, but see, at that time, we had people that create jazz, that created blues and country but they don't get the credit that they deserve. I think this guy named Johnson, I'm not mistaken. I know his last name Johnson. They said that he helped created blues and R&B, but he was not getting the credit then because we have to understand who controlled the economics back then.
Indeed.
So we have to understand that too. But
Indeed.
at that time, the jazz. See, I understand what you're saying. Yes, it's a point. I'm glad you asked the question. I have to really think. So, but they didn't call it gospel. They call spiritual hymns.
Right.
At that time, and then they just then they start saying gospel. But when you think about it, we created all that.
Indeed.
But we didn't get the notoriety. We get someone like W.C. Handy. A lot of people think W.C. Handy, he created black folk, he created folk music that go in the country. He was not allowed to play in Carnegie Hall like in the 20s and the 30s. W.C. Handy, look it up, family. I think he's playing Carnegie Hall in the 30s and stuff, but he was old then, you know what I'm saying? But he don't get the credit he do. Lester Young, another jazz great. John Cole, like you mentioned John Coltrane. I said the onlyest monk. Diana Washington. People say, what's up, Diana Washington? She sang jazz too. Also, she sang R&B and pop. I think she overdosed herself back in the mid-50s. Another great. You got Charles Hubbard. You got Hubbard. He made a song. I'm gonna tell you, he originally from somewhere, but he resided in New York for a long time. He did a song. Oh man, I'm gonna pull it up while I'm talking to you. He made a song of Fulton Street, Fulton and Nostrand. Those are the streets in Brooklyn. And that's one of my I'm gonna pull it up. I got to pull it up. Yeah.
So the reason why I asked about the different what came before what question is because that question gives us an idea of whom those people that you're speaking of gleaned from and where they came from. You know what I mean? A lot of their forefathers came out of those eras.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I can, back in the day when they had the church, and then some of them broke away from the church and snuck and started playing other music like the blues. You know what I mean? Then when the blues, somebody, probably doing a jam session came along and started playing something differently. Next thing you know, we got jazz. You know what I mean? And this is how the love of music can cause someone to spend hours upon hours to hone their craft and to make great music.
Yeah. I want you to hear something, family. Let me know you hear it. And the ones on the chat, I want you to hear it. I'm gonna play this. This is Freddie Hubbard, Nostrand and Fulton. That's in Brooklyn. My home, where I born and raised at. Nostrand and Fulton. This is one of the underrated jazz composers of all time to me. I'm gonna play it. I want y'all to hear this. Let me know y'all hear it. Fair use. I'm just gonna play some. Fair use. That's it. One of the best horn players of all time, Freddie Hubbard.
Now, can I say something on that?
Yes, sir.
For anyone who is not familiar with instruments and ever played an instrument, so even if you have played it at least for a year, you might notice. But like what you just heard is very, very hard to do. So when you listen to jazz, like for instance, when a jazz band play, they play their song, right? And
Mm-hmm.
towards the end of the song, each instrument, each person who plays the instrument normally gets a solo. So when you're dealing with jazz, you're dealing with masters of each particular craft, and everything that they playing are difficult notes, riffs, and chords. So when you heard that horn or the saxophone play the way that it did, that's something that's very difficult to do. So like if you were a student of music, right? Just let's
Mm-hmm.
just say you wanted to learn the saxophone, you would get better by listening to that, right? And like pausing it and rewinding it and pausing it and rewinding it again and try to
Mm-hmm.
what they did. And what you'll notice that you might spend months trying to mimic what they did because what they done is very, very hard to do, and it takes years and years and years and years to get to that level. I liken it into, if you watch somebody like an AI, Allen Iverson in his heyday, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're just someone that plays basketball like um, 3 times a week, and you look at what he do and try to copy it. It's not going to be the same. The reason
Mm-hmm.
is because AI, he spent hours upon hours upon hours upon hours perfecting that killer crossover.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing. Like, so what you just played, I just wanted I just wanted to put that in perspective for people to understand the mastery and just that. And I've been in music for a very long time, so like I'm able to understand it. Like I've been in jam sessions, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought the point. But one of my best. And I'm gonna tell you, they have versions of 6 minutes and 10, but this is a 7 minute and 10 seconds. This is long. Usually be longer than that. But at that time, Fulton, I think this is one of the best what he ever done. Also, he come from the bebop stage too. He had LPs in his 50s too. But he can't, I believe now. I'm gonna tell you who the one played that. This is like I said in '62. I already know that. Freddie Hubbard trumpet, fair use. Wayne Shorter, all-time jazz great tenor. Sax, Cedar Walton, all-time great. I mean, no, Wayne Shorter, tenor sax, all-time great. Cedar Walton, piano, all-time great. Reggie Workman, bass, all-time great. These are all-time greats, family. Fair use. Fair use. Oh, I forgot. On the drums, Philly Joe Jones. Philly. I see. Philly Joe Jones on the drums. Jazz legends. And I want y'all to go back, and I'm saying that Hubby, he went on to have an outstanding career too, and I did, and I believe I really believe I did a live stream about him too. I did, I know I know I did it somewhere, but I gotta find it. But then y'all can look forward for it. But that just one I played, and that's one of my all time great too, brother. Anybody want to join the panel? Let me know. This is great. I'm giving you jokes. Go ahead, brother.
indeed. So there are a few out there that are online with some of the elders that we listen to. Like you listen to some people that they might not even be out right now, but you can hear. I enjoy hearing the influence of different people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It kind of tells a story about who that person is a little bit. Like for instance, Andre 3000.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people don't know that that brother plays. He really does play other instruments.
Yeah.
He has one song um, that I really like, and it reminds me of Earth, Wind, and Fire. It reminds me of Ramsey Lewis. What is that song called? I think I'm in love. You remember that?
Yes.
Well, if you listen to that song, you hear Earth, Wind, and Fire. You hear Ramsey Lewis, and you also hear his own twist to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So there are some people out there that um, are very artful and spend hours upon hours, on that music. But remember, those are the ones who have the longest careers. The people who were able to do that. That's why Andre 3000's been able to last so long.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and also we can't forget about the queen, the late great queen of soul, Aretha Franklin. Or some of her songs, if you look at, I told people like this before she came to Atlantic Records in '68. That's what she make a mark. Before then, she was down with Columbia Records in the late '50s, going into the '60s. If you look at some of her songs that she made, that she also sang in jazz, not just gospel. She's saying the jazz form too. It's just that at that time, Columbia did not see the vision of how Aretha Franklin, because jazz do like if that. I'm glad that you asked that question, because you got gospel, you got blues, then and you got blues, you got jazz. All these format of music is span out of different variations of our music, and also to take their own variation. That's why I call it popular music. Like you got pop, you got people saying hard pop. You could see some of our works back then in the past, but they not to see if you like I said before, if you develop the authentic listener, you see hear that. You hear the guitar play, you hear the horns playing. Now people say, "Oh, rock, they don't play horns." Yes, they do play horns. You hear other rock bands back in the '60s that also they had copying from jazz composers back sometime 30, 40 years before that. Even then, and maybe they wasn't big hits in jazz, but they became bigger hits for them. Like I give you case in point. Um The Animals. They did a big hit of Bo Diddley. Want to look it up too. It's part of jazz thing. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it right now. Know what I mean? The Animals. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what. Yeah. I'm pulling it up right now. Mm-hmm. I gotta see. The Animal Chronicles. Shit. I'm gonna tell you the songs. House of the Rising Sun. No, no, no. Blue Feeling. No, no, hold on. Let me see something. No, that's not it. Blues. Fair use. Blues. Bang. Hear that? Mm-hmm. Now all the songs they playing is in blue jazz format, paying for people, but they call it rock. Let me get you stuff. You can go ahead and talk, my brother, when I'm looking for it. No, that's not it. Hold up. Yeah, I think up. Hold up. I wanna see this. See so. But the song I'm looking for, that was boom, 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 boom. Bo Diddley did that. He did it first. What I'm
I
trying
think I
to
know. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because matter of fact, they playing on the. It's on a lot of commercials. It's been
Yeah.
on a lot of commercials for years.
And Bo Diddley make crazy money off that. He got crazy royalty money on that. I'm not saying Bo did the other stuff. You know, he did a lot of stuff too. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Yep.
He did it first. Wasn't a big hit. I think it was a big hit for Bo Diddley, but it was a big hit for the Animals. And I'm gonna tell you one thing too. You remember the group War, my brother?
To be honest, I don't remember a lot of names, man. But
All right.
I probably
You
remember
remember,
the music.
all right. You remember the song "Slipping into Darkness"? Slipping into darkness.
Sing a little bit of it.
Slipping in the darkness.
Yep.
Okay. Now Eric Burton, ahead of the Animals, he introduced the wall back in 1970. Matter of fact, Eric Burton had did something with Wall back in 1970, but after that, that's when Wall really started making that. That's when I think it's 71, 72. That's when Wall started making a lot of hits back in the 70s. Listen to Wall too, people. A lot of people don't give Wall a lot of credit too. I know we're getting away from that, but I'm dropping some things on y'all. The connection of popular music, how
this is good.
expanded. Not just expanded of jazz form, but expanded of other sectors of music. How the Europeans and other nationalities have made it bigger hits, but at the same time, but the sad thing about it, they make bigger hits and they got money and economics for it. But as us at the same time, we still at that time still have to fight for our royalties, the copyrights and stuff like that. You can go ahead, brother.
Indeed, man. The very song that you're mentioning, man, was a hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, unfortunately, we do have a lot of artists in the past and in the present that had their music stole.
Yep. Right. And at the same time, you got a lot of white counterparts, and I'm talking about even that they also had big hits, right? And they become part of the Hall of Fame family. And the ones who made it before them, they told them they just contributors. And they named them, oh yeah, they the one made the song, but that's not true. Like you said, they were stealing. You know?
Yeah, they took advantage of a lot of us because back then we didn't know the business of the
Right.
music.
Business. Right. We didn't know the business. So what happened was a lot of them became contributors. And come to find out, if you listen to them, if you see, they wrote it, but they was not getting copyrights for that. And a lot of them, like I said, became contributors. And then when you became contributors in the Hall of Fame, that means you ain't shit. And same thing as sports. Same thing as sports in the Hall of Fame, too. Same thing as sports. But we're going to get back to, we're going to talk about music. We have to understand the economics of music. We have to understand the economics. But back to like you were saying, they was getting told they didn't know the business. But see, people don't understand this. This was a norm that has actually happened prematurely. You know, it was happening like that. You know what I'm saying, brother? That they want this to happen because they know deep down inside that we created it, but the money, we didn't have the money backing. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
We didn't. So now to go back some years, that's when Motown comes into the picture with Barry Gordy. Then when we want to be independent. And then after that, you got a few years later, that's when the Sounds of Philadelphia happened. Now, people think the Sounds of Philadelphia really happened in the 70s. No, that's when they start making that's when they start making a move. But the Sounds of Philadelphia really happening like in the early 60s. You know, you got people that heard like Gab, like, you know, she appreciate because she's from Philadelphia, and you know, Gamble and Huff. Now, a lot of people don't understand Gamble and Huff started writing, they met each other like in the mid-60s. But it was hard for them because you know, it was at that time they want to do their own thing, and a lot of people was robbing them too. So they helpful, and also, a lot of people don't understand. In the mid '60s, Leon Huff, he played with Maurice White too. I forgot the record label, but damn, what's his name? What's the man, he's from Chicago too. He died in a car crash in 1972. I think it's Stewart something. I forgot his name, but you know, Maurice White played the drums, and then Leon Huff played piano. And Leon Huff, one of the best pianists played gospel. I'm telling you, one of the wickedest playing piano all time. Also, he had a little record label, Leon Huff, and then after that, all that stuff. But him and Gamble Huff became very close. I mean, beyond music and stuff. And they start writing excellent hits. You know, Gamble and Huff, you know, at that time. Now I'm gonna go back and forth a little bit. Jerry Butler sang with the Oppressions. He don't love you, right? He was with the Oppressions back at that time. That a lot of people realize. What? Oh yeah, you got to get back on there, right? Okay, he don't love you, right? Now after that, Jerry Butler had left the Oppressions back in the late 50s and went on with pretty good solo career. I mean, throughout the 60s until he met Gamble and Huff. And then they made some LPs back in 67. But you know, 68, 69, I think the Iceman and the Ice Comet back in 68, 69, one of the best works ever come for the Philly. That they called the Philadelphia Sessions of 68, 69. Now that's when Tom Bell came in the picture. Because Tom Bell at the time, I'm talking about Tom Bell and Kenneth Gamble. You know, Kenneth Gamble later on become part of the Muslim. I forgot the Muslim name and everything, but excuse me on that. I don't want to respect his name. They was together. They made a little minor hit back in the early 60s. But what happened was Tom Bell, they all live in Philadelphia except Leon Huff lived in Camden, New Jersey. And also, that was like a bridge away from Philadelphia. And Gamble, that's when Kenneth Gamble, he was singing in Epic Records. He was a solo artist back in the mid mid 60s. Look him up. His name is Kenneth Gamble. Matter of fact, he wrote a hit for somebody else in the mid like 63, 64, something like that. He wrote a minor hit. Now, at that time, Tom Bell, he went away to school. And then there was, when he came back a few years, he became a arranger, songwriter, composer, and stuff like that. So throughout the years, that's when he started writing. At the time, Tom Bell started writing hits of certain people, but he started really making his mark with the phonics. And then Gamble and Huff and Tom Bell, that's what they formed the Mighty Three. And then that stopped banging out hits and stuff like that. The sounds of Philadelphia. That's when the sounds of Philadelphia really start coming into form in the late 60s. That's when they start spreading out and stuff. Like the record The Horse. Noble, I forgot, it's Gil Noble, something like that. It's something like that. The Horse, most of the play that's from the sounds of Philadelphia. That record became gold. That's from the sounds of Philadelphia. That's when you got the great Norman Harris. Matter of fact, let me say this. I'm gonna get the Gamble Hub because I'm gonna stick to the sounds of Philadelphia. I want you to work with me on this. When all this was formed, right? You got Bobby Eli, he's still living. He played the guitar. Roland Chambers. Now Roland Chambers and his brother, I think Roland Chambers and his brother, they went on, joined MFSB. That's back in 73. But MFSB was formed in 71. But the songwriter and playing was Baker, Young, and Harris. BS. Welcome, Zeus Flipper. Zeus the Flipper one. Thanks for coming. Chop, thanks for coming. Now, during the late 60s, it was Ron Baker, Norman Harris. What his first name? Oh my God. What his first? Earl Young. Now, them three formed Baker, Harris, and Young. Now, they became a songwriter group, producer and everything back in the late 60s. They start going over, they start making their mark, writing hits. The sounds of Philadelphia, the regional and even. Now, part of them in the 70s. Now I'm talking about that's what Kenneth Gamble, that's when he formed Gamble Records. And that's when he bring Leon Huff into the picture. That's when they start writing hits, start writing big hits. Like the Expressway of Love, I forgot the name. Expressway to Our Love. Oh man, what's the name? Expressway. Oh man, what is it? Well, when it comes to me, a bunch of white boys, they came a monster hit back in the late 60s. And they made a bit, that was a pop hit, and that helped them spring them on, and they stopped, and that's when they start having the intruders, like baseball. They make the sound of baseball number game, love game. That's back in '66. That was another hit. Then they started had Archie Bells and the Drells. Gamble Hub did that. Now this I'm talking about now. That's when they really start really putting their foot in the popular music family. That's when because they making like R&B hits and other, but they start hitting pop now. Now they start getting noticed now, and then that's when Gamble and Huff they wrote Billy Paul. Now a lot of people know Billy Paul came out, but Billy Paul been out. That's another name. Billy Paul was singing the jazz thing back then too. That the Cadillac Club and stuff. It didn't did all that good like in '68. But what happened was that's when Gamble. That's when they Gamble up in '68. I believe they formed Mermaid Records. And that's when the OJs came in about. The OJs was singing back in the early 50s. They formed in the late 50s, Canton, Ohio. But they making some regional hits now. But that's when Gamble helped they spill their career of what's that record? Well, anyway, it's back in '68. They wrote the whole song on Mermaid Records. Bobby C, the late great Buddy Siegler. He wrote a lot of hits, pop hits of Sounds of Philadelphia. All right. Now, also the second LP of the Sounds of Philadelphia records. That's when Billy Paul. He made Billy Paul of the second LP of I'm talking about now they took him along. They got him in Mermaid Records. Now he made Ebony Eyes. That's an LP back in 1970. Gamble Hub produced that. Now Ebony woman, Billy Paul sang that back in the late 50s of New Dawn Records. I'm trying to pull it up, but I couldn't. But they did a remake of that. Now later on, 2 years later, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes back in 1972, they did a remake of that, but everybody thought that was a remake, and no. Billy Paul did it first back in the late 50s. Okay, now we go along the Sounds of Philadelphia Expressway. That's right, the Soul Survivor. Expressway to Your Heart. That's right, thank you. That was a top pop hit and a top R&B hit. Thank you, Icy. And also, they also wrote Expressway to Your Soul. I think that should be a monster hit too. I like Expressway to Your Soul too, of the same LP too. Expressway to Your Soul, the Soul Survivors. Now, also, I'm going to get back to that. Now, the Soul Survivors came back in '74. That Gamble Hub did that. It wasn't really, they didn't really push that and everything and stuff. And so I want you to look for that. And so they really quaint that. But I'm going to get the Soul Survivors. Now, after Mermaid was over, that's when CBS Records had come up. Now, before I get to that, CBS Records, that's when I'm gonna get back to the Sounds of Philadelphia for a few seconds. I want to get that out. CBS now I'm talking about the Isley Brothers. Now the Isley Brothers, they had their own imprint on it, and I forgot the name of it. CBS Records has Sound Today label. And also Earth, Wind, and Fire, they sound to their label. CBS Records sound to their label too. T-Net. That's it. T-Net Records. Isley Brothers, they had T-Net Records even back in the early 60s, but they had to abandon that temporarily because they wasn't getting no right. And also they created the late great guitarist Jimi Hendrix. They created him on that. And also Who's That Lady? Isley Brothers did that back in '64's That Lady. That was like 2 minutes and something seconds. But they redone that 9 years later in '73. They did it in '62. They did 9 years later. No. Let me get it straight because they did it 73. It was 64. I'm sorry. They did it 64. And then they redone it again 9 years later, 3+3 of the LP of Isley Brothers and stuff like that. I want to get you. Want y'all to know. Want you to know about that. So get back to Sounds of Philadelphia. So CBS Records has signed. They Gamble Hub link up. And that's when they become Philadelphia International Records. Now during the time they also had North End Records. Two of that time. Gamble Hub had North End Records. So they made like over 300 songs, different songs of different things like that. Y'all can pull it up too and stuff. So that's when MFSB came into formation. Now the three brothers I'm talking about is Baker, Harris, and Young. They came part of MFSB. You got Bobby Eli, he's still living. Ron Baker and Norman Harris, they no longer here. They died. Norman Harris died in 1984, and Ron Baker died in 1990. But Bobby Eli and Earl Young, they still living. And then they got the other ones who played in the Sounds of Philadelphia back then. They formed MFSB. Now that's when the OJ now the Sounds of Philadelphia really start forming because now you got Philadelphia International now. That's when the OJs come into the picture, really come into the picture right now. That's when Billy Paul start coming. That's when people come. That's when he came on Me and My Mrs. Jones. It came out 360 degree of Billy Paul. Me and Mrs. Jones came out there 72. That's when of that time Gamble Hub signed Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Now Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, how they came in formation, they was like a doo-wop group back in the 50s. But at the same time, Leon Huff discovered the young Teddy Pendergrass because at the time Harold Melvin was looking for a lead singer. So what happened was he discovered this young great Teddy Pendergrass. And after he heard that, he very instrumental to put them in the group. If You Know Me By Now. Now, if you hear the background singing, that was Kenneth Gamble and Leon Huff and Bunny Siegel. Now, I know people with Buddy Siegel. I'm hoping I'm gonna get the Buddy Siegel. Me and Miss Jones, right? That's back in '72. Now, but they also come with a lot of hits. You know what I'm saying? That's when the Sounds of Philadelphia really start putting their stamp of popular music. Money, 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 Money. That's part of their Ships Ahoy song. LP. So you have to understand one thing about popular music and I'm gonna tell you about the Sounds of Philadelphia. They also play in the jazz form too. So I'm gonna pull up the OJs. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand. Doctors giving you, I'm giving you a history. You know what I mean? I'm giving you a history how jazz formed. For the OJs. Oh yeah, the first LP that the OJs that Gamble and Huff with the OJs is the OJs in Philadelphia. I believe that's 68, 69. Okay. I'm gonna pull it up and everything. I'm giving you jewels, man. I'm giving you something, man. So Backstabbers. Backstabbers was their first And one of the first LPs come at the early 70s. If you know me by now, right? Yeah, that's part of Hell Melvin and the Blue Notes LP. They first LP is in the group was saying with the young Teddy Pendergrass. He was 22 at the time. Backstab. You grow all time great. A lot of hits came out there. Then you got Ships Ahoy came out, Money, and stuff like that. And you know the rest history, the OJs, I think that's one of the underrated groups and stuff like that. And then now we're going to start really going in of the sounds of Philadelphia. We talking about I'm gonna go back of the Phonics. Now the Phonics was part of, they was not part of Philadelphia National, but they was part of what's that group name? What's that label? I'm gonna look it up right now. The label. And I could tell you because I know, but that's when they start making their mark. They from Philadelphia too. The phone. Okay. Stop. But they make oh, that's it, right? There's the name, Philly Groove Records. Philly Groove Records. And that's when I remember I was talking about Tom Bell. Now Tom Bell also was writing for other musicians too. He wrote for Dusty Springfield. Now she's a white woman soul and stuff like that. Also, he wrote because now we're gonna talk about the Spinners. Now the Spinners, they made a big hit back in '61. I don't know whether you can pull up back in '61, but they was lingering all along and everything. Now, Motown was using as like road managers. That means they carry other people's bag, picking them up and everything. Also the Ozzy Buzz was part of the Motown thing too. But both of them had left, and after the history, they just made hits after that. Now we're going to talk. Now we're talking about the sounds of Philadelphia. We're going to stick to the '70s here. Now, after Motown was over, Cameron. That's when the Spinners was looking for a lead singer. Now the lead singer, there was like Cameron. I didn't know his last name, Cameron. He left. I think he was in the service. He came in service. He wanted a solo career, and that's when they introduced his cousin Philip Wine, and they was like little here, and that's when Aretha Franklin, the late great Aretha Franklin, was the best friends of the Spinners for a very long time. And when the Spinners was signed to Atlantic Records, Tom Bell went down the line, because that's when Atlantic that's when Atlantic Records was changing up now, so Tom Bell had picked the Spinners, and he said, "Why you pick the Spinners?" He said, "I heard them back in the '60s, and I love the harmony, and they did the harmony back then that he was blown away." And what happened was that's when the Spinners took off in '72, and he hired like the top Philly songwriters. He said, "Look, brother, I want you to concentrate on the Spinners. That's all I want you to do. Concentrate on the Spinners, and I'm gonna do the arranger and stuff like that." Now, at that time of the sounds of Philadelphia, that's when Dionne Warwick, her sound was like dying down a little bit, but it started to pick up again because a lot of the Spinners hits, Dionne Warwick was singing background, and then she did. Then also Tom Bell and the late great Linda Creek, they was a songwriter team too. One of the best songwriters team of pop music all time too. Check them out. They wrote Dionne Warwick of the Year of the Cat, the Cat back in '75. Now we should start reading up. Now that's when the oldies start making their move. That's when at that time the Phonics would start dying down because they had problems and stuff. recording, and Randy Kane, he got mentally tired and stuff like that. Now that's when we go. Now we start talking about Blue Magic. Blue Magic made a song back in '72. It didn't come and hit, but that's when the sounds are filled up. That's what MFSB now. Now I know people. You heard about MFSB. MFSB started do some songwriting themselves of other people too, outside of Sounds of Philadelphia. So the Sounds of Philadelphia started making their mark again back in the '70s. So that's when MFSB started really pushing popular music. You know, you got Wilson. Now I forgot Wilson Pickett. Now Gamble and Huff. Now I'm gonna go back a ways. Now Wilson Pickett, he had an LP back in 1970. He did an LP with Gamble and Huff. Is Wilson Pickett in Philadelphia. He did Engine Number 9. That's back in 1970. Now at that time, they did not hit. It was not MFSB at the time. They were just like, they called them the family. Now the family affair that you hear now, I know that now I'm talking about Sly and the Family Stone. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Right. They the original ones made that. But the Sounds of Philadelphia, they called that the family then. They did an LP of that back in '73. But the original came from Sly and the Family Stone. But when they redid that, they was called that MFSB. They called it the family. That's back in North End. Remember I talked about North End Records family? That's North End Records they made back then. They made like 2 minutes and 14, but I believe that the other half I can never really found it. But they put the whole LP almost like by 4 minutes or something like that. But I believe they made the both parts back in '71. It's safe to say. And then that's when MFSB came out. They came out their first LP back in '73, like Love as a Message. Love is a Message. They came out MFSB. I believe Tom Bell wrote that, and Sexy and stuff like that. A lot of people have formed into that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, brother, I didn't mean to cut you off. You can go ahead, brother. So I'm just giving the Sounds of Philadelphia some love, and something like that. You can go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. Anybody want to join the panel? Let me know. Drop the email in.
My brother, I'm just enjoying listening to your measure, man. Like, you got a deep knowledge of the music. You know what I mean? And you're absolutely right, man. You on the flow. You know what I mean? So I said, continue on, brother.
Okay. But I want you to join. I'm going to ask questions. But after that, so now after that, Motown has died down. The Temptations make them more. Also, let me go back on the Temptations. Now, this is Norman Whitfield. Now, Norman Whitfield, I know he was that part of Motown and everything. Now, I know people heard Holland. They wait most hits, I think it's Holland. Somehow, I don't know. But they left and they formed their own thing, Free the Pain and stuff like that. Go to Love and stuff like that, and Bring the Boys Home. They part of that, they part of wrote that, and so. But now that's when the Jackson 5, they made it, they run out and everything. Now get back to the Sounds of Philadelphia. They was in court back in '75 because that's when they left. That's when they left Motown. And then what happened was they lost the copyright of the Jackson 5. So they called themselves the Jackson. Now that's when Jermaine Jackson left. And Jermaine Jackson, in a few minutes, in a few years, he did some records with the Sounds of Philadelphia too and stuff. But he went on and co-create Switch. That's in the late 80s. Late 70s with some of the DeBarge brothers. And later on, the DeBarge has formed from that. You know, the bars had went on and stuff like that. Now the bars went on. You know, they signed with Motown in the late 70s, going to 80s and stuff. Well, I might get into that. But now the Jackson, that's when they came to Epic Records. Now, Gamble and Huff trying to sign them of they Philadelphia International Records, but they didn't work out. So they signed to Epic Records, but Gamble and Huff had worked with quite a few people of Epic Records. So what happened? We worked with Melba Moore. I mean, some things she was part of the Sounds of Philadelphia, Melba Moore. But they, the Jacksons came and show you how you way to go. That was a big hit. So all that was MFSB, original of MFSB. Now, and then also MFSB, they came with 2 LPs in 75, and they made their last song. I'm talking about the original MFSB. They made their last LP on Summertime. That's their last LP of the original stable members of MFSB. And that was about like money problems, money and stuff, credits of playing of copyrights and stuff. Now this is during the time. I know y'all remember of Baker, Harris, and Young. Now this one they really start getting alrighty now. Now I forgot to say about this. You remember I say Earl Young discovered the Tramps in 72. They had a monster hit and everything. And after that, Baker Harris and Young, they discovered Golden Fleet Records. And I believe that Philadelphia International has signed them today, something like that. But so they start making their mark then. You hear what I'm saying? Disco Inferno, but yeah, but the Trance make hits even before then. So they become Baker Harris and Young songwriting and producing. Even you got the Whispers, right? You got the Whispers. They came out Bingo. That's part of the Sounds of Philadelphia, Baker Harris and Young. And also they came out in 76 too. What's that? Emotion and Sin, something like that. 76. And so get back what I was saying. Now after when original MFSB come, they didn't really left. That's when South Soul Records came into the act. That's when the late great Vince Montana. He played the vibes for MFSB. Also, he played vibes before they came and all like that. And so that's what Norman is. So he helped form South Soul Records. So the original ones of MFSB, they went to South Soul Records, and that's when they put a stamp on that. Now, 77, they took a break. Now, that's when Hammer Mel and the Blue Notes was in trouble here. That's when Hammer Mel and the Blue Notes, they went to, what is it? I forgot. They went to CBS Records, but they went to another label of CBS Records, and they was okay. That's when the late great Teddy Pendergrass started making his mark here. That's when he started going solo. That's when he went to Philadelphia. Matter of fact, he stayed in he was with Philadelphia International. He stayed there, but he became a solo act. And after that, you know how many hits that he did. So we don't have to worry about. So he stayed at Sound of Philadelphia. Now I'm talking about now. Now we talking about Jerry Now I know y'all remember I told an hour ago about Jerry, the late great Jerry. Oh man, what is it, Jerry? I get the, oh man, what his name, his last name. I pull it up. But anyway, he came back to the sounds of Philadelphia International Records. And and so hold on family. Somebody's giving me the to try and look who I'm trying to find who texted me. And I don't know who did, so I don't know what. But no, that's not it. But I just said his name too.
Is it Jerry Butler?
Yep, that's it. Jerry Butler. That's what I'm saying. So Jerry Butler. Now this is during the time. Now I'm talking about Philadelphia International. That's when Jerry Butler. He was part of Sounds of Philadelphia, and they trying to sign him, but he was part of Mercury Records. Now at that time, now I'm talking about going back to the early late '60s. Now they did not want to sign. They did not want to give Jerry Butler his just due. So and they didn't want to pay Gamble and Huff. So what happened was Gamble and they had a string of hits. And you know he was part of the songwriting team too. Back in the late 60s, he co-wrote a lot of hits among each other with the Gamma and Hub side. And also Jerry Butler played some piano too. Groundbreaking and everything. Yeah, I'm getting old. I know Jerry Butler. But at the time, Jerry Butler was still with Mercury. Then he was with Motown. And then he was with... Now, at that time, now we're going to talk about the Intruders now. Now, that's when Sonny, he left. It's back like in the late 70s. I mean late 60s. And then you had this other one. They came with an LP. I forgot the name of it, but it was a top hit. It was like a wedding song. It was a top hit. And then Sonny came back. They kicked the other one out, and Sonny came back. And that's when also the Intruders, they signed with Philadelphia International too. They never really left. Gamble Hub, they never really left. They just signed with them, and then you know the rest is history. They came out with some most important songs the Intruders did too, and stuff like they part of it too. And they left in '75. And I was heard about that too. But now we get back to South Soul Records. Now South Soul Records, they make their mark now. I now get back, like I already said about Teddy Pendergrass. Now Teddy Pendergrass, they make his mark here too. Now Gamble Hub had to re-up of new people of MFSB. Now they was part of MFSB, but they was like second tier. Now they became the first tier back in '78 that they called Gamble Hub Orchestra. That's the name of the LP back in '78. So that's when other people start making a form, and you see other arrangers, they start making a form too back then, because it was other arrangers, they make some hits too back in Southfield, but they was not known. But now they start coming up and they start making their own form. So this is MFSB. This is the second phase of MFSB, like that. And so so they start making the now during this time, Billy Paul will start fading a little bit. He started really fading a little bit, but he was still made some pretty good. He made some pretty good songs though, but he didn't have that catch. But but Teddy Pendergrass started moving up too. Now, when Gamble and Hub, I tell you, Gamble Hub, when they formed Philadelphia International, Kenneth Gamble, that's when during the time he became Muslim in the mid '70s. But I'm gonna talk about the early '70s. and stuff. He brought back Gamble. He brought back Gamble Records. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, no. When I said it true was part of Philly International, I'm not. No. How you doing? I'm not talking about that. Okay, no problem. Okay, all right. Thanks for coming. But then, one minute. Okay, now during this time, on Gamble Records, I forgot. When I'm talking the true part of the Gamble Records. Also, they made records at Philadelphia National, but they part of Gamble Records. They was originally members of Gamble Records back in the '60s too. I have to say that they was part of Gamble Records. They part of Gamble, but it's abandoned. They abandoned for a few years, and that's when Jerry Butler rearranged came up there, and he came out with 3 LPs in the late '70s and the early '80s, and then that's when he came back to Philadelphia International, but he was part of that's what Gamble he brought back his of his record label Gamble, and that's when Jerry Butler he was saying some time his record. Y'all could look that up too and stuff like that. But that's what South Soul Records started making their mark here. They really started making their mark, and also they Baker Harris and Young, they came, they got knuckle record. They got now this during the time that now this when in the mid '70s, that's when the Tramps started making this sort of. That's when they started making their own mark. Sounds of Philadelphia. You remember I was talking about that, fam? But they really you can hear the Spanish sound, and stuff because the late great Mr. Montana. He brought that into that too, of the Spanish sound, the Allen sound, of jazz and stuff, the fuse and stuff. One of the best vibe players ever, hands down. One of the best arranged composers ever. He passed away back in 2013 of the age and stuff. McFadden Whitehead, that's an excellent point. Now, a lot of people don't know McFadden Whitehead sang back in North End Records with Gamma and Huff back in '71. And also, they made an LP back in '70. It didn't really sound all that good, but they were excellent songwriting. They were still writing. That's one of underrated songwriting teams of South of Philadelphia too. They wrote monster hits, and then they came back. I ain't stopping us now, but they made considerable hits back in early '70s and stuff. They came from North End. Matter of fact, they part of the Escorts back in the '60s and stuff. But get back to the sounds of Philadelphia, and then that's when Mysteries of the World. That's the LP, and it's hot and everything. And that's when South Soul Orchestra started really slowing down a little bit. And the Stylistics too came from. Now the Stylistics was formed back in '68 of these two groups of the sounds of Philadelphia, and they came together. And then that's when Tom Bell signed to Accor Records. It was Accor Records at that time, Styles and Sounding, and then that's when they made monster hits with them too. So let me see who else that Stylistics and stuff. And also Tom Bell did a soundtrack, The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, that the great Dr. J playing it. All right. And he had different, and then Tom Bell had different artists play on that. But he did a soundtrack, The Pitch That Saved Pittsburgh. Check it out, Tom Bell. So I just give people, a little something, brother. I'm surprised nobody want to come to the panel and anything. So, brother, that's it. I'm a little tapped out. You can go and say whatever you want.
Check 1 2 1 2.
1 2 1 2.
Man, brother. You gave almost the whole history of Philly music.
Yeah. And
That's
I
some good.
and I ain't talking about the '80s. And they talking about alternative. You got Denise Williams. You got other things. That's when hmm
Indeed, man. That's some great information, man. And I would you know what I mean, we might need to go back and if we don't already, we might need to go back and revisit some of these old classics and
hmm
appreciate some of this good music that our people put out. You
Yeah.
know, because
Oh yeah, and I forgot I left one out of the legendary Joe Simon. Gammon Huff wrote his LP too. Got great. Got yeah. I forgot Joe Simon too.
yeah, man, the people that you named, man, left great music for us to
Yeah.
listen to.
And also, before you continue, Sounds of Philadelphia was requested by other record labels writing for them too, back in the '60s and even in the '70s. Even I'm talking about Baker Harris and Young. They was together almost 12 or 13 years. But they was going they was writing for a lot of people, a lot of hits. And even some of Philadelphia's best songwriters and producers too that I ain't even mentioned. They wrote big hits too. So, but they to me they that's the best sound to me ever. And also too, they wrote some revolutionary music too back in the late '60s. You know, and I probably talk more about that later on. Everything you can go ahead, brother. I know a little something.
Indeed, you do, brother.
I know a little something.
Honest to that. Yeah, man. I would like to travel down to Philly, man. I'm not sure if they got places where they play live music, things of that nature. But just to feel the spirit of real music. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I forgot. And I forgot to say this too. Back in '68, it was his white brother. He discovered Sigma Records. I mean Sigma Studios. All the hits that came to South Philadelphia, I think it's South 9th Street, South 6th Street, something like that. And then Gamble Huff played with something like that, and he liked it, and they liked it. So all the sounds came from Sigma Records. You got the Philadelphia section I was talking about with Jerry Butler and Gamble Huff. You got the Stylistics. I think the Phonics playing there. You got the OJs playing there. Big hits came from that Sigma Records. I mean Sigma Studios in Philadelphia. You even got I'm sorry, the Third Degree. You got First Choice. Um, I can go on, man. I'm sorry. I forgot to bring that up. Of Sigma Studios, man. Woo! That was groundbreaking too. That was groundbreaking because they never heard the sound like that before. And when that happened, like in the late '60s, that was it.
Indeed. But yeah, let me say beforehand, man, my apologies. I'm gonna have to break out. So I'm gonna let this be my last remarks.
No. I'm getting ready. I want you to stay right there. I'm gonna start reading out too because I got to go myself too and everything. You can make your last few months. It be very quick. I want to thank y'all, everybody, to come. The darkness know music too. No, I know, I know. I told y'all, man. I know some stuff, man. I know some things. Um, so hold on, family. But I appreciate y'all came out. You know, I'm gonna do more stuff like this. Believe that. I'm gonna set the tone for our people and stuff. And it's very important that we have to know about stuff like that. And but but the ones that I missed up top, I want to thank y'all. The one came in, Malik, Omar, stuff, everybody, Anise and all that. Thank you. I'll get to you, Sonny Boss Talk. The one I missed, I'm sorry, I'm trying to go back, but I can't go on. Let me go back. I see. Thanks for showing up and being in the chat. I mean, being the platform, being the panel. Thank you, Marvin Thrash. Yes, let's clean up the ghetto. Yeah, yeah. That's one of the last hits they did really in original guys. Also the OJs was part of that too. Let me see the OJs. Also Archie Bell and DD Sharp. They part of the record too. Zeus the Flipper One, Chocolate, my sis, thanks for coming. Sonny Boss, I get to you quickly. I see. Oh, I got you. PK Boss and Minway. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Appreciate that comeback. Sonya C's, Soul Train theme. Yep, come from South Philadelphia. Yep. Thanks for coming, Sonya C's. I see. Oh, Annette B, thanks for coming. Very much appreciated. And Connie, all right. Thank you. Thanks for coming. And all right, brother, make your last remarks. And thanks for coming.
Indeed. Honest to everyone that came through on the chat. Honest to everyone who came through on the panel. Today was a great video talking about some of the great people, some of our great people, musicians and artists and things of that nature. Uh, I think that today, brother JT, he did those brothers honors just mentioning them, because I think some of us forgot some of that good music. So we got cookouts coming out and get eating and everything. So that's during these times, we're celebrating as a family. Throw back on some of that old, some of that old school music, and just enjoy the mastery of those musicians play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And take your time to really go past the words that they say and listen to the music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's very important. But honor to you, brother. Thank you for having me on again.
Mm-hmm.
With that, I say peace.
Peace. Well, I could say that thanks again to Sonny and stuff. Salute to brother Jeff George. Thank you for coming. You miss a lot, but you can always catch the rewind back. Sister Sledge, yes, she played in there. Oh, I forgot. The Jones girls played. Was a part of Sounds Philadelphia too, back in the late 70s, going to 80s too. Uh, Dancing into Romance, Sounds of Philadelphia, Gamma Huck. Another one I can. Well, anyway, I want to thank y'all so much to join this. I am happy. This not gonna be the first time. I'm gonna be doing music a little often, and I'm gonna pick an artist. He or she doesn't make a difference, and we're gonna go in. Go show you, dog, because I know music too. You know, and and it's very, very important that we got to know our music. Our music is popular music. So on that note, wherever you travel, have a good night. Wherever who comes in early, comes late, you can always catch on rewind. Drop your comments. Very much appreciated. You never know, in the morning I might come with another music thing. You never know. You never know what the darkness do. But on that note, y'all have a good night. And thanks again for joining the Underrated Music Talk featuring Ramsey Lewis. Underrated Music Talk. And be careful. And let's love each other. On that note, Ghost.